Okay, we're out of the car wash. Windows clear. And FSD's taking us away. It's about 2:25 in the afternoon, and we got about 3 hours to burn in Texas for our first. No, can't go that way. Wrong direction and one-way parking lot. Except for that, FSD's been doing so good. Want coffee or hot chocolate from Starbucks?
No, I don't want any. For now.
Okay. Good job getting out of a crowded parking lot. A lot of cars, a lot of cross traffic. Still got a lot of dirt in the sky. We had hurricane force winds a few days ago, and it's still in the air. Look how dirty the screen is. There should be a screen lock on here somewhere that's so you can rub the mirror. Lock rear display. There's screen mode. You can't do it while you're driving. Makes sense. Circling right back by home, so we'll use 12:30 as our start time. Comfortable?
Mm-hmm.
Cool enough? Warm enough?
Mm-hmm.
For those new to the channel, my name's Rick. This is my fiance Rose. I've had my truck since 22nd of December, closing in on 3 months. One of the incentives with the new truck was 90 days of free supercharging, and I've got 5 or 6 days left of that. So we're going to go see Colorado, courtesy of Tesla. Thank you, Tesla. When I first got the truck, we were on FSD version 12 something, one of the later versions, but maybe the last version of version 12. And just a couple of days later, it switched to 13. And we're on 13.2.8 now. Real funny intersection coming on up here. We're going to make a almost U-turn. That's maybe a 120-degree left turn onto a major highway, 55 or 60 mile an hour. Let's see how FS does here. Got no traffic to the left, truck to the right, but we can go. Let's give it a little encouragement here. It's made it before. Just don't have to wait till the truck gets closer because there's a lot of cars behind him. For those new to Tesla or new to full self-driving, I am too. And this truck was my first electric vehicle. But my gosh, it's fun. I keep telling people it's like a Disney ride. Those winds are tough, blowing us off the road. Winds blowing us off the road. Those. Let's try that again. Anyway, again for the newbies, this full self-drive, they call it supervised self-drive because you do have to pay attention. Just like there, sometimes it's not quite right, but at least 90-95% of the time it does fantastic. Sometimes it'll get stuck in a place, not sure what it's supposed to do. So that's why you have to pay attention. You can't take a nap or read a book. So I like to tell people this is not your grandmother's cruise control. There's a lot of vehicles out there that have some pretty sophisticated driver-assisted cruise control. Monitors your speed, keeps you a safe distance behind the car in front of you, keeps you in the center of the lane, and that's about it. Some models will change lanes for slow traffic, but to my knowledge, none of them will take an exit or get onto a freeway, and then once you're off the freeway, make a right turn at a stop sign or stoplight, merge onto traffic, handle 4 or 5 or 6 point roundabouts. So Rose lives in Keller. I live in Celina. She has 3 granddaughters, also live in Keller. I've got 2 grandsons that live in Austin. I thought one thing might be fun on this trip is, I know at least my grandsons have watched 1 or 2 of the videos. Anyway, tell some stories they might enjoy, the grandkids, about what we did as kids. So we're going to be on some back roads till we get to maybe to Denton or to Decatur. From Decatur we'll take 287 all the way to Amarillo. FSD can turn its head a lot farther than I can, see when cars are coming. Now it's safe. And some of the other vehicles that have the driver assisted remote control, they only work in a select area, usually on interstate highways or major thoroughfares in major cities. Not anywhere, not everywhere, not on a road like this. We were driving to Rose's sister last night, and we were on roads that had no center lane. In fact, one road for a couple of miles was completely washed out, but it navigated it no problem at all. It went slow. It's just very, very impressive. When I was a kid, we took this same trip almost every summer from the time I was 5 or 6 until probably 17, 16 or 17. It's not a stop sign here, buddy. Went up the same freeway. When I was real young, we used to go to Estes Park, kind of north and west of Denver. But then for the next 10, 15 years, and then as an adult, going back with my grandparents, parents, my kids' grandparents, went to mostly Central and South Colorado, Breckenridge. We had a camper. We went camping. Alamosa, Fun Valley, which is in South Fork, Colorado. And in Breckenridge, where we're going for this trip. Fairly new 2-bedroom cabin that should see quite a bit of snow. It's been very cold. So this is about my 7th video. So I'm not the narrator. A lot of the folks are that do these, but it sure is fun explaining what all my truck's doing and learning from you guys. So I encourage comments. That's how we all learn. Like y'all, I watch Chuck Cook. Out of Spec Dave. EV Dave. He drives a Cybertruck. I'm going through some horse country here in Aubrey, Texas. My dad's cousin See, that make him my cousin also, or uncle. I thought it was an uncle, but anyway, Bob had a horse farm between here and Pilot Point. He raised it'll come to me. Beautiful horses. Seems like a lot of traffic for Monday at lunchtime. Love how it does on four-way stops. It knows when it's its turn. This latest version, .8, is the only regression I've seen from this version is that sometimes it has some issues turning off a main street into a parking lot, going to a restaurant or a grocery store. Previously, it had done fine. Just super great. But I guess the two weeks plus I've had this, 3 weeks, it'll turn the opposite direction. GPS says turn left in 500 feet, it'll turn right. And similarly, coming out of the parking lot or shopping center, I don't usually engage FSD until I'm kind of headed where we need to go to get out. And it'll immediately turn and go back the other direction or make several turns and just not know how to get out. That never happened before. So there's some kind of disconnect there, but that's the only regression that I've seen. But a cool thing about this community, all the people that are testing it and reporting in, Tesla's got a built-in system for when you disengage. You can send a message back and save clips to send those back so they can see what happened. That's why we get so many revisions over the air. I get tickled. People talk about having a recall of 100,000 vehicles and people panic. That doesn't mean anything for Tesla. They just send an update over the air to the hardware. And some pretty horses there. Good example for the Cybertruck. The windshield, the washer, it only starts putting out water as the wiper goes down. If y'all have seen a Cybertruck, it's got a massive, like 4 or 5 foot wiper. And when it goes down, just as it changes directions, coming back up, it'll start the fluid. And then it stops it at the top of the motion. So you're not getting very much fluid, and certainly not at the very lowest arc of the wiper. So with update before last, they had enough people say it was an issue, and I was one, not to directly test it, but through the service department. Now when you hold down the washer button, after the second sequence, the fluid comes on and stays on until you let go of the button. which is perfect. And you get plenty of water. You don't just get muddy dust. So the quote unquote recalls get fixed just like that. They can even change the efficiency, change the speed rate of charging. As more testing and development goes on, they can update the software to take advantage of those updates. That's just pretty smart in my book. I bought a screen protector for this screen and the 9 or 10 inch in the back. It's still in my garage. I started to bring it and put it on while we're on this trip. Guess where it is? Still in the garage. Coming up on downtown Aubrey, Texas. Don't blink or you'll miss it. It's really pretty at night. All the shops have lights. And it was very well decorated during Christmas as well. Neat little town. Except for the dirt in there, it's a beautiful day. Sometimes we go this route when we're going to Rose's sister's house over in Argyle. Just beautiful horse farms here. I would love to live out here, but well, there's some alpacas maybe, some goat, donkeys. But I guarantee you they don't have 5 gigabit fiber out here. Although I guess they might. Some of these horse farms have some pretty well-to-do operations going on. But that would be cool. I was born and raised in Dallas, so I am a city boy, but I do love the country. If I have my own chickens, I don't have to worry about the cost of eggs. On the other hand, I wouldn't have a Costco or Kroger or Instacart that delivers from everybody. It's silly how you get used to those things. Y'all let me know if I got a hole in my britches. My nose itching like it is. Love going on road trips. My brother and I had travel trailers when our kids were really young, and we came to Colorado every summer. One year I brought my kids to Breckenridge in the winter. They learned how to ski. My gosh, it was cold. The first or second morning we woke up, and the thermometer right outside the door said -20. And I was thinking maybe that's centigrade or something, you know, -20 is 5 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that, I'm not sure. No, this was -20 degrees Fahrenheit. It was so cold the car wouldn't start. So after that, we got an extension cord and a couple of 100-volt light bulbs we put down around the engine down low so it would keep some heat on the engine. It started just fine every morning after that. Back then we had CB radios to communicate. Todd and I would get so tickled talking about things we saw or things that was going on with our trailer. We thought we were going to lose it sometimes. We thought we blew our engine. And sometimes we traveled with my mom and dad's best friend, Bill and Eva Collinsworth. And we'd all be on the CB radio talking. Bill Collinsworth, at least once a year, he'd get on, "I think I blew my engine." And he was serious. That was, that was so much fun. Remember, I was 14 or 15, and that year we pulled a Toyota Land Cruiser, Land Rover, Land Cruiser, a big red Jeep behind the motorhome. And I was just starting to learn how to drive. And Dad gave permission for me and their other two sons drive a few miles away, mostly off-road. Of course, I tried driving somewhere where I shouldn't have gone, and I got the Jeep up stalled on high center on a great big rock. Couldn't get it off. We tried rocking it off, so we had to walk back. My daddy and Bill Collinsworth came back with us and got it off, and I wasn't in too bad of trouble. Everybody had fun. This is Loop 288, also known as Highway 360. This should take us into Denton. And I know 360 goes all the way to, I think I know 360 goes all the way to Decatur. Decatur's where we get on 287. One thing about going to Colorado, especially the southern half, is half the vehicles have Texas license plates. Except for the liberal politics, Colorado is very Texas friendly. we're going. Pay attention, Rick. So we're going back south on 35 for half a mile and then back on 380 over to Decatur. I don't know if it's still there, but when I was a kid, there was like a pool hall or something in downtown Decatur. It was called Aider from Decatur. Eighter. Aider from Decatur. Last time I was in Colorado, I guess was about 7 years ago. I rented a motorhome with my brother, his family. His son had a truck and travel trailer, and then some friends of ours have a travel trailer. And so anyway, there was 10 or 12 of us that went to Breckenridge, same place we're going on this trip. And we had CB radios, and we just stayed tickled to death, laughing the whole way there. Miss Rose, is this your first trip to Colorado?
Yes,
Cool.
I am excited.
Probably at least 90% of my trips to Colorado were always in the summer. Common thing for Texans to do to get out of the summer heat. Colorado in the summertime is usually 45 or 50 degrees at night and 65 to 70 degrees during the day, sometimes 75. And there's almost always an afternoon shower. Not hard rain, not hard wind like we have in Texas, but just a gentle shower. Just kind of settles the dust, and good napping weather. And I enjoyed taking naps when I was a teenager and young adult up there. Just the smell. Super fond memories. So I'm excited to show Rose at least a couple of the places I went when I was a kid.